Greetings, fellow humans, and welcome to the Bookworm Hole. I wasn't originally planning on doing a readathon for this month, but then Tiffany from the Book Skeptic told me about this readathon, and she showed me the prompts for it, and I ended up getting really excited for it. And what interested me about this readathon particularly is that not every prompt is about books, although that's what we're here for, to read books. There are some like lifestyle prompts or just like a go out and do thing prompts, which I really liked as well. So I am actually going to do a readathon this month, and that is the summer/readathon. This was originally created by Sally Thames, and I will leave her channel in the description below. So for this video, I'm going to go over my TBR. Like with every TBR video I do, I put way more books on it than I'm actually going to end up reading, because I am a mood reader, so I like having a big selection to choose from in order to fit my reading whims. And of course, a lot of these books are going to have some overlap with other prompts, but I do want to put at least one book for each prompt, even though in the end I might read one book for several prompts. So without further ado, let's go over each of the prompts and what I am planning on doing for each of them. So the first prompt is Surf's Up. Read a book with a body of water on the cover. For this, I chose We Shall Sing a Song into the Deep by Andrew Kelly Stewart. This is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi following a cult that lives on a submarine. And as you can see, there is water on the cover, and the book is going to take place mostly underwater. This is also going to meet the under 200 pages prompt as well. The next prompt is Pen Pal, and this is one of the lifestyle prompts, and it is to write a letter to a friend. I'm really excited about this because I often write letters to my friends. And so for next month, I want to use this as an opportunity to write to a friend that I've been meaning to for a while and still haven't managed to. So I'm really excited about that. And who doesn't like getting mail? The next prompt is Roots, read a childhood favorite. I have a few options for this prompt. The first one is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Neil Gaiman was like one of my favorite authors growing up, and I really haven't read anything else by him since I graduated college, so I've been meaning to revisit a lot of the books I really enjoyed. And this is definitely one I've been meaning to reread for a while. As the title somewhat implies, this is kind of I guess retelling of The Jungle Book, except it's about a baby who is raised by a ghost in a graveyard. And also this book is beautifully illustrated, and I love the way the text interacts. You can't really tell, but like the text interacts with a lot of the illustrations. So I'm hoping to revisit this book, but I also have a couple other options. The City of Ember by Jean DeProw. This was the first science fiction I've ever read, and I read this either in second or third grade. And I remember just absolutely loving this, and this really sparked my initial love for the genre of science fiction, so I wouldn't be where I am today without it. And this is a book, I guess like dystopian future, post-apocalyptic, where everyone is living underground and their city is failing. But they don't know they're actually living underground. They just think they live in this world of darkness and that their city is the only thing that exists in this world. However, I'm a little nervous about rereading this one because I'm worried it's not gonna be as good to me as an adult as it is in my memory. So I might not read it for that reason. If anyone has read this book more recently, and if it's enjoyable as an adult, please let me know. And the third choice, and probably the most likely of what I'm going to read, I've been rereading the Animorphs series. Animorphs I read in 3rd grade, and it's about kids who are given the power to turn into animals in order to fight against a parasitic alien invasion happening on Earth. And if you've been on this channel a while, you'll know that I've been rereading these books since last year, and I'm only on book 10, I think, will be the next book I need to read. It is a series I never finished reading as a kid, and one that I want to finish reading as an adult, and one that I've been enjoying reading as an adult. The next prompt is get lost. Go somewhere in town you've never been. This is another lifestyle prompt that I'm really excited about. I've lived in the city my entire life, but still there's always new things to discover. And for this prompt, I wanted to go to this goth bar. It opened up in 2020 during the pandemic, so I didn't go to it when it first opened up, and I just haven't been to it since, but it's one that I really want to go to. The next prompt is heat waves. Read a book set entirely in the summer. For this one, I had to phone a friend for help because I read mostly science fiction, and weirdly enough, most science fiction isn't like specifically set in a season, let alone summer. So I asked Tiffany from the Book Skeptic for help, and she recommended to me Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I haven't read anything by Emily Henry, but I do know that she's pretty well loved on BookTube. And this book sounds interesting because the main character works in the publishing industry, which I also work in the publishing industry, so I can relate to that. As well as, obviously, I'm a book lover. This also is a new adult book, which I've only read one other new adult book before, and I did really like it. And I think I would prefer to read a new adult book rather than a young adult, just because I haven't been a teenager for quite a few years now. And so I'm not always interested in reading about teenagers, but I am in my 20s, so I can relate a little bit more to that new adult feeling. The next prompt is buddy read. Read a book with a friend. For this year, I've made it my goal to do a buddy read every month of the year and to branch out to some new people I haven't buddy read with before. And I've managed that goal so far. I don't have a buddy read set up for next month though, so if any of these titles interest anyone and you want to do a buddy read with me, please let me know. I would love to buddy read with you. Don't hesitate to reach out. The next prompt is easy breezy. Read a book that is under 200 pages. I love that this is a prompt because I've barely read like any novellas this year. So I have two options for this prompt. Sun Daughters, Sea Daughters by Amay Ogden. This one would also qualify for the water prompt because it is also underwater. And so what I know about this book is that humans are living underwater, and it kind of reminds me of BioShock. I don't know how close it's going to be to BioShock, but that alone has me interested. And the other choice for this category I have is The Past is Red by Catherine Valente. Catherine Valente is an author I haven't read yet, but I keep putting her books on my TBR without realizing it's the same author. So I just gotta do it. I just gotta read something by her. I have like at least 3 books on my shelf on my physical TBR of hers that I haven't yet read. This one looks like it's going to be a post-apocalyptic, which is a subgenre of sci-fi I'm really into. And also, I gotta admit that just the cover really got me interested. I love the cover art on this one. The next prompt is movie night. Watch a movie set at the beach and make it fun. So I'm not married to the movie I have picked for this one, but the only movie I could really think of that I like that is set at the beach is Mamma Mia. What's not to like about Mamma Mia? It has ABBA music, it has these beautiful views of the beach and the ocean, and it has Meryl Streep. It's a great movie, but it's also one that I have seen so many times before, so I almost want to try something new. So if anyone has a recommendation of a movie I can watch that is set at the beach, please recommend it in the comments below. The next prompt is touch grass. Read one book entirely outside. This is one I'm unsure about if I'm actually going to do, just because I don't usually read outside. Sometimes like looking at like a page in direct sunlight is too bright and it hurts my eyes, which is a really weird excuse. But so I'm not sure if I'm actually going to do that prompt, but it might be good to get out of my comfort zone a little bit. The next prompt is sunny days, read a book with yellow on the cover. This is a bit of a stretch, I guess, but I chose The Actual Star by Monica Byrne. I started reading this book in May. It was the last book I was reading in May, and I got a little over halfway through the book, but then once June hit, I wanted to focus on reading only LGBT books by LGBT authors, and this book didn't qualify for that, so I did put it aside. Also, I was borrowing it from the library, so I had to return it. But I liked it enough that I want to finish reading it. I think it's a very interesting book. Some of the ideas in it I don't entirely agree with, but I think it's a book that really makes me think, so I really like it for that. This one's really interesting because it takes place in 3 different times. One during the Maya era, one during modern day, and one in the future. And it's about these like 3 different timelines and kind of how they interact with each other. And there is yellow on the cover, even if it's just a little bit. But it is a book that I really want to finish reading. The next prompt is Pride, read a book with a queer main character or author. I'm doing both. Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This was a book I wanted to read in June for my LGBT books by LGBT authors. However, there was a huge waiting list for it at the library, so I didn't get it in time to read it for June. But it is one that I really want to read. This one is a historical fiction taking place, I think, in Chinatown, and it features lesbian representation, and the author is Sapphic herself. Next prompt is going to be super easy for me to do, and that is Trackstar, participate in a reading sprint. I do reading sprints with the Book Skeptic and the Witchy Reader every Sunday, every week. So, yeah, that's an easy one to cross off right there. We rotate between our channels, so I'll link both of their channels in the description below. And if you want to join us, look out for it. We'll be doing them weekly. And the next square is easy. It's the free space. I did Summer Splash, and all I got was this lousy bingo square, so check that one off. I did that one already. Next prompt is branch out. Read from a genre you don't usually read. For this one, I chose The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. I don't read a lot of young adult contemporary, so it's not my go-to, but usually when I do read a young adult contemporary, I like to choose something that isn't what I personally have experienced. And so this book is, of course, about a Black teenager, and it deals with police brutality. As a white person, that's something I haven't had to deal with. I think it'll just be a really good learning experience, and I feel like that's the purpose of this book, is to kind of make people a little bit more aware of, you know, like, just because I'm white and I don't experience this doesn't mean that police brutality isn't an issue. So yeah, so that's gonna be my branch out choice. Next prompt I absolutely love, and that is I Like It Picasso. Make a piece of art inspired by a book. I'm gonna define art very generally. I am a very crafty person. I like having a lot of hands-on hobbies besides just reading. And one of those hobbies is to make soap. So I thought it would be fun to make a bar of soap that maybe uses the colors from a book cover, and then to make this scent inspired by the book by mixing different fragrances. I'm still learning the science of creating fragrance, but I haven't made anything too offensive. But to me, that's a really fun idea. Next prompt is play pretend. Be your favorite character for a day. Make choices based off of what your favorite character would do. This prompt is super cute, but I don't think I'm gonna do it. It just doesn't seem like something I would do or would be interested in doing. I did think instead maybe I could do a closet cosplay of a character. Although this prompt doesn't specify it has to be a book that you read this month. It can be, you know, your favorite character. So I might do just yeah, a closet cosplay of a character that I like from a book I've read before. I do own a lot of wigs, so I'm sure I could do that. I'm sure I could pull that off. The next prompt is Hot Girl Summer. Read a book written by a woman. About more than half of the books I read are written by women, so this is kind of just like an easy prompt and definitely one that overlaps with a lot of the titles I have mentioned so far. So Tiffany from the Book Skeptic suggested like reading a woman author that I've been meaning to read that I haven't read yet. So for me, that would be Niveau, who's an author I keep putting on my TBR, and I still haven't read anything by her yet. But I was interested in Siren Queen by Niveau, and that is a historical, like, fiction taking place in old Hollywood, and it's also sapphic, so yeah, I'm interested in that. Next prompt is OOTD, and I feel really old in admitting that I don't know what that stands for. But the prompt is create an outfit inspired by your current read. That sounds fun and definitely like something I could do. I'm thinking just like taking the colors from the book cover and like choosing clothing based on that. So I think that would be really fun. Next prompt is spice it up. Read a book by an author of color. Obviously, like I said with the Hot Girl Summer prompts, I do have quite a few of books on this list that are by authors of color, so this is kind of redundant almost, but a book that I've been meaning to read for a while is Riot Baby by Tochi Onyebuchi. I think it's dystopian, and it also deals with police brutality too, I think. I don't remember, but it's been on my TBR for a while. It's also under 200 pages, I think, too. But a book I've been meaning to read for a while. Next prompt is TPWK, yet another acronym. I don't know what it means, but it's perform a random act of kindness. This is something I'm not going to plan ahead of time, but like as the month progresses, you know, if the opportunity comes up that I can be nice to someone and do something nice for someone, obviously I'll take that as it comes. And, you know, we'll discuss what that is at the end of the month. This next prompt is one that I really love, and that is Summer Vacation. Read a translated work. I really haven't read that many translated works. It's definitely something that's been missing from my repertoire. So two of the books that I've been really wanting to read that weren't originally published in English are Solaris by Stanislaw Lem, and this was a book originally published in Polish, and The Three-Body Problem by Cixin Liu, which was originally published in Chinese. Next prompt is photo op, participate in an Instagram challenge. I don't really do Bookstagram, and like the only Bookstagram accounts I follow are like booktubers who migrated to Bookstagram, and I really like their booktube accounts, so I followed them there. And also like my Instagram account is private, you know, it's my personal account. So I don't really know like what the Instagram challenges are, so it's probably gonna be a square I'm not gonna end up doing. Next prompt is Sandcastle. Read a book featuring royalty. I'm not gonna lie, I don't love royalty blondes, but I did come up with some books that have been on my TBR for this prompt. And one of them is Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This book consistently ends up on my TBR. And what I know about this is I think the main character is a prince, and it's about an arranged marriage to another man after one of them like lost their husband. And I think it's like mostly a political sci-fi. But this would also count for the Pride prompt as well. And the other book is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke. This is another book I started reading earlier in the year, and I got a little past the halfway point. I kind of found myself like eager to read something else, so I decided to DNF it for the moment. There's things I like about this book, and there are things that I didn't like, and it made it hard for me to read. But I do want to finish reading it. It follows two different POVs, but one of them is a princess. But there is also like this strong sense that there's going to be a romance plot between these two main characters, so this would also count for the Pride prompt. So I do want to finish it, but it's not high on my priority list. Next prompt is Pass the Aux, make a playlist inspired by one of your reads. This one I might do like one song from every book that I read this month. I think that could be really fun. Or I might just do one book like it says. We'll see. And lastly, share the love. Read someone else's favorite book. I have a few different choices for this one. The first one is Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card, and this is a favorite, or at least a book that Michael from Fit to Be Read talks about a lot, and a book I've been meaning to read for a while. The other is Empire of Silence by Christopher Rocchio, and again, this is either a favorite of Jonathan's or he just talks about it a lot from Words in Time. And lastly, Angel Fall by Susan E. This one I know for sure is a favorite because she said it, of Tiffany from the book Skeptic. So yeah, that is my TBR for the month. I hope to also take at least a little bit of film of some of the lifestyle prompts that I fulfill. I haven't decided if I want to do like a month-long reading vlog or just like incorporate the lifestyle prompts into my wrap-up at the end of the month. Haven't quite decided yet. We'll see how it goes, but I'm really excited about this readathon. It's been months since I've done a readathon. Again, if you're interested in any of these titles and want to buddy read with me, please reach out. I would love to buddy read with you. Remember to support your local library and shop independent when you can, and until next time, please stay tuned.